Imagine your hometown suddenly turning into a battlefield. Imagine the enemy marching in tanks, carrying machine guns, while you hold only rifles, maybe even bolos. And yet you fight. You don't back down. You fight for your land, for your people, for freedom. That's exactly what happened in the small town of Santo Tomas in 1899. This was not just another clash during the Philippine-American War. This was a turning point. A battle so fierce, so shocking, that even American generals took a step back. This is the forgotten Battle of Santo Tomas. And today, we uncover the truth. After Spain lost control of the Philippines in 1898, many thought freedom had finally come. But peace didn't last long. Instead of full independence, the Americans came. They promised to help, but they stayed. And soon, the Filipino revolutionaries who once fought the Spanish had to take up arms again, this time against a new foreign power. It was the year 1899. The air was thick with tension. The First Philippine Republic, led by Emilio Aguinaldo, declared independence. But America didn't recognize it. So the war began. And in the town of Santo Tomas in La Union, a storm was coming. Santo Tomas was quiet on the outside. But behind its peaceful trees and rice fields, something was moving. Filipino General Manuel Tinio, only 22 years old, had gathered his men. Young, brave, and brilliant, Tinio had a plan. He knew the Americans were moving fast, trying to take northern Luzon. So he set up defenses across La Union. But what could his forces do? They were outnumbered, outgunned. No tanks, no airplanes, no artillery, only courage and the will to fight. The American army, led by Major General Lloyd Wheaton, was pushing hard. His orders were clear: capture key towns in the north, stop the Filipino resistance, crush them. On May 3, 1899, they reached Santo Tomas. Wheaton's men were trained, well-fed, armed to the teeth. They believed this would be a simple operation. They were wrong. As they marched through the town's edge, a bullet rang out. Then another. The ambush had begun. Filipino soldiers opened fire from trenches, windows, even treetops. It was chaos. The Americans didn't expect this kind of resistance. Every inch of ground became a struggle. The town turned into a war zone. Streets became battlegrounds. Houses burned. Civilians ran for cover, some even helping the Filipino troops. Tinio's guerrilla tactics worked. Surprise, speed, sharp movements. They moved like ghosts in the town. But the Americans had numbers. They pushed back hard. Flames rose from homes. Dust covered the sun, and the rivers ran red. The Filipino fighters were brave, but many fell. The Americans, using heavy firepower, started to push deeper into Santo Tomas. General Tinio knew this couldn't last forever, so he ordered a retreat, not out of fear, but to save his men for another day. This wasn't surrender. This was strategy. Because the fight was far from over, but the battle left a mark on both sides. Do you feel the weight of history now? These aren't just names in a textbook. They were real people. Young warriors, brave women, families torn apart. If this story opened your eyes even just a little, like this video, share it with someone who still believes Filipino history isn't worth telling. And don't forget to subscribe to keep our stories alive. Because if we don't tell them, who will? After the smoke cleared, the Americans held Santo Tomas. But at what cost? Wheaton's forces had won the ground, but lost something else: certainty. They now knew this war would not be easy. Filipinos were not backing down. They were not savages, they were warriors. Who was Manuel Tinio? At 22, he was already a general. By 23, he was one of the most feared names in the Philippine-American War. He would go on to lead the resistance in the Ilocos region. Using guerrilla warfare, he gave the Americans endless headaches. They called him a bandit, but the people called him a hero. After the war, Tinio served the people as governor, but he never forgot those who fell in Santo Tomas. The Battle of Santo Tomas changed the way the Americans fought. They began using more aggressive tactics. They targeted not just soldiers, but civilians, too. Villages were burned, families punished. Why? Because they feared the spirit of the Filipino people. They couldn't crush it, so they tried to break it. But even through suffering, the fire of resistance lived on. Today, Santo Tomas is quiet again, but it remembers, and so should we, because every inch of freedom we enjoy today was paid for in blood. In battles like this, fought by men like Tinio, by boys who became heroes, by families who never gave up hope. So the next time someone tells you history is boring, tell them about the Battle of Santo Tomas. Tell them we were never just victims. We were warriors, and we still are.